Cruising on the Crown Princess? Today I'm highlighting the standout features that make this one of my favorite cruise ships. But stick around to the end because I'm going to share the biggest thing that I think actually needs to change on the Crown. The first thing is that even though this ship is smaller, it never felt crowded during our sold out 11-night Alaska cruise. There always seemed to be room for us to navigate around the ship and never really had to wait in line for anything. The second thing is that there's tons of elevators. Along with not needing to wait in line, we rarely had to wait for an elevator. There's a handful of times like after a show that we needed to do that, or getting back on the ship when we're all kind of getting on at the same time in the same area. But other than that, we didn't really have to wait for elevators, which is not true that when we were on the Oasis of the Seas. That ship, not great for elevators. My daughter has mobility issues, so we require elevators to navigate the ship. And having so many elevators to choose from, we usually could find something. Here's a tip. Use the forward elevators. Almost always the forward elevators were less busy than the aft elevators because the dining is in the back. That applies for any cruise ship. Find where the dining is. Like usually the aft has the buffets and the dining rooms. Use the forward elevators instead. Another thing that was amazing was the buffet seating was huge. The buffet was on the smaller side, but the seating area was enormous. We had no issues finding seats 99.9% of the time. We are buffet people, not dining room people, so being able to easily find a seat without fighting crowds was fantastic. Because of this too, we also never had issues finding wait staff to help serve us drinks. There's plenty of space, plenty of crew. We were golden in the buffet. This ship is fantastic for navigating as well. I am one who gets lost all the time on cruise ships. It takes me forever to learn a ship. But the Crown was fairly simple to learn. I'm not sure if it's because we just happen to spend most of our time on the same deck, but I found it very fast for me to navigate this ship. Let me know in the comments below. Are you like me and get lost endlessly on cruise ships, even the smaller ships? Or are you like my brother where you just walk around at once and you magically know how to get everywhere? In terms of our stateroom, something that was fantastic was the large closets. We pack fairly light, but we were doing Alaska, so we did have some bulkier clothing. It was so nice to have a giant closet to put our stuff in. It also was nice because, like I said, my daughter has mobility issues, so we had a stroller with us, and I didn't even have to fold it because I just literally parked that thing right in there. The Crown was fantastic for having seating on the outside promenade. We've sailed on other ships that haven't had this, and the Crown was magical to be able to just sit out there and watch the sunset. Of course, there was days like Glacier Day that seating was even more special, but it was also harder to find on those days. But for the most part, we had no issues finding seats. There was plenty. My absolute favorite thing about the Crown, and I'm not sure if this is because it's an older ship, but it was the size of the venues. Other than the Explorer's Lounge, which was sometimes a little tricky to find seating, we had no issues finding seating in venues. Our favorite venue was Club Fusion. We were in there a lot, and it had so much room for people. Another cruise we were on, jam-packed with people on all the venues, which then makes us not want to attend events because who wants to go there and push their way to find a seat? Crown, we had no issues with that. Another great thing about these venues is they often had really big tables, so if we wanted food delivered to us, we had no issues eating it because we had plenty of space. Now there is, like I said, one thing that I wish the Crown would change, and I'm not sure if this is an older ship thing or a Princess thing in general, but given Princess's demographic, I was kind of surprised that this became an issue. We're sailing on the Sky Princess in December of 2024, so I guess we'll see then if it is actually an older ship issue or if it's a Princess issue in general. But anyway, that is the accessible bathrooms not having a button to press to open the door. I honestly have no clue how anyone in a wheelchair or using a walker would open these heavy doors to get in and out of the bathroom. My daughter, like I mentioned, has mobility issues, so she is in a stroller and eventually will be in a wheelchair while I push her around. And so it was tricky for me to be able to navigate that, trying to get her in and out of the bathroom. So like I mentioned, we absolutely love getting food delivered to us. And if you're curious about how we did that, check out the Princess Medallion video, that's right here.